Recording.
Hi guys. Woo woo. Okay, so we wanted to do this Zoom for you all, not really as a training, but just to talk about the importance of, working on your self-growth and self-development and keeping yourself motivated, especially with this new year, because the whole new year, new me thing, like I'm a big believer in all of that if you start putting it into practice. And so Taylor and I were talking the other day how we didn't really want to do a training on, how to sign customers, how to sign distributors, how to get out of a rut. We would just rather talk to you all and just get real with you all. Just kind of reflecting on this past year for us and Katie's past 2 years and how we've changed since then and what we did to get to where we are today, not just in the business, but mentally. And so I'm going to start off with Katie and just ask that each of us are going to tell you a little bit about our story and then go into how, not only our business, but how we've changed as individuals since joining and since really working on our mindset and self-growth. So Katie, take it away, girl.
Okay. I love sharing my story, you guys, because I didn't promote super fast. And I know some of y'all come in and you're like, I didn't get a Ruby bonus and you want to quit. And it's like, just chill out. Okay. So I joined in March. I went Ruby in 2 months and it took me a whole year to go Diamond. Keep in mind, Tiffany Her was my personal enroller. So while Tiffany's over here balling out 5 figures a month, I'm like, whoop, whoop, I'm a Ruby, $400 a month. And I was owning that. So I wasn't trying to be like Tiffany. I wasn't posting that I was making a full-time income. I was be you, okay? I was posting about my dreams. I was talking about I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to get off of WIC. Don't be embarrassed of your story, okay? So even though Tiffany was over here like paying off massive amounts of debt, I was posting when I got a $100 bonus and I was buying groceries, or I was able to get ahead on a credit card. Those little things are what people relate to and what matter, okay? So it took me 1 year to go Diamond. And guess what? It took me 2 years to go double. But it's like, why would you guys not work 2 consecutive years to make $6,000 a month? Okay? Tiffany went double in 2 months. And guess what? My 3rd year anniversary will be this March, and I'm going to hit triple diamond. So why, guys, that's a 6-figure income. Why would you not work 3 years for that? So that's really, just my story. Just quit trying to rush it and promote so fast, okay? It's going to happen. I think Eric Worre says you're lucky if you make a profit in your first year in network marketing, okay? So it takes time to grow residual income. It takes time to grow a strong foundation of team members and loyal customers. So just quit trying to rush it, you guys. Just pump the brakes. So that's my story. Why don't you go ahead and share yours? Because I haven't heard it.
Okay, cool. So I started the business July 1st, 2015. So I've been in for a year and a half now. I was kind of the opposite as Katie. And this is why I love doing things like this. So you can hear all these multiple perspectives. But I came out of the gate like running. I had no idea what I was doing. I love when Tiffany says ignorance on fire, because that's exactly how I described the way that I was. Taylor Flanders, who's now a diamond on my team, actually was the first distributor that I signed. And we talked for 3 hours on the phone. Like, I will never talk that long on the phone to a potential because I'm just word vomiting on them at that point, right? So I had no idea what I was doing. I still thank God every day that she joined my business, because really I wouldn't have joined if I would have talked to my psycho ass. But I just like had no fear. My fear was not giving this my all and not knowing what it could do for me, not failing. Because I had seen, I joined right after Nicolette. Nicolette's my upline. And she, within like a week of her business, was talking about how she can't wait to come home, to her baby. And she was pregnant. And I was like, I've known this girl my whole life. Like, how is she doing that? But she's kind of a no BS girl like me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to believe her. I hopped in. My first month, I signed 22 loyal customers, which to this day is my best month with loyal customers. And I signed 4 or 5 distributors. And I was like, oh, like I got this. So first month, I went executive, like I think it was my 2nd weekend. And then I went Ruby the next month. I went Emerald the next month. So I went Emerald my 3rd month in. And I didn't even realize that was like a big deal. Because I didn't know what the norm was. Because sometimes we watch all these leaders and they're like, I went diamond in 30 days. And so I was like, is this good? Like, am I doing good? And I remember everyone being like, Kelsey Thornton was like, Ashley, you're filling your steps to success not once, but multiple times a month. Like, you're killing it. Like, that's good. But I didn't even know, like, I was kind of being hard on myself. Like, gosh, I don't know. Like, I didn't go diamond in 90 days. It took me 90 days to go emerald. So that's another thing I want to you all need to throw out the gate comparing yourself to anyone else in this business, because like Katie already mentioned, you're not going to care how long it takes you to get there if you're going to be making what you're making when you get there and living that lifestyle. The only person you should compare yourself is to the person you were yesterday. And so, think about who you were yesterday and how you can grow, from that mentality, or maybe work harder. But anyway, so 3 months in, I went Emerald, and then I sat at Emerald for 5 months. And for me, that was really hard. Like, I know some of you are like, what? Like, you're in your 7th month, you were an Emerald, and you're like complaining about that. But when you promote every month, 3 months in a row, like, you kind of consider that your norm, right? Like, what you're capable of. So I remember sitting there like, gosh, like, I must not be doing something right. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to decide today that I'm going to go diamond, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to stop caring about the fact that I'm not there yet. And I'm going to start caring about getting there. And so that was in December. So December went by, didn't promote. January went by, didn't promote. I went to conference in February, and that's actually where I met Katie. We were like clicking over Alicia Keys and all sorts of stuff. But I remember like at conference, I was the only person from my team there. And like, I am not shy. Like, you all probably, if you know anything about me, like, I can talk to a wall, but like, I was very uncomfortable because I felt like, oh my gosh, all these girls are here. Some of these girls are, just distributors or just executives, and no one on my team is here. Like, maybe they're not into it. And I just was feeling like very insecure. But after everything at conference, and if you're going this year, you'll shortly understand. I can't even really put it into words. After everything that happened at conference, our worship service, just talking with all these people who treated me just like a normal person and didn't look down at me for being, not the same rank as them, just real people, real stories, huge amount of energy, like overwhelming energy. I left there and I was like, I will go diamond this month. Like, I will do whatever it takes to make it happen. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a full-time teacher. And so I obviously was full-time teaching and tutoring 4 days a week at this time. And I realized what I had been doing was not going to get me to diamond. And so I made a commitment to myself that this would be the most tired month of my life. Like, I remember Nicola was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'm going to wake up an hour earlier. I'm going to go to bed 2 hours later. I'm going to drink an extra coffee or two a day with espresso, and I'm going to go diamond. Like, I didn't let the no time be a factor. I didn't let the no energy be a factor. Like, I just was going to do it. And so I ended up going diamond that month, earned a $20,000 double good bonus. And I've been diamond since then. So again, like, for someone who's hard on themselves for promoting and keeping moving forward, like, I've been diamond now for almost a year. In February it'll be a year, which is next month, which is crazy. But one thing I will say is the reason that I haven't gone double diamond is because after I went diamond, I was not mentally ready to be a double diamond. I didn't have the mindset to go double diamond. And I actually just think that recently I found that. And so, God doesn't put people in front of you and place the opportunity that you have in their hands unless you are ready for it. And so I think I was working really hard all those months, but my mind was not in the right place at all. I was comparing myself to other people. I was setting my expectations crazy, unrealistic high. Like, and when I say that, I mean unrealistic high, not having high expectations, but things that I had never done before, month after month. And then I would just get upset with myself because I wouldn't hit my goals ever. And so I was just negative and upset. And recently I found that mindset. But basically over the past year, I mean, so much has changed. And when it comes down to it, I'm working just as hard as I was then, but I'm taking the time to work on my mind. I'm not just working on my business. I'm taking the time every day to pour into myself. And people are noticing when they're talking to me, it's different conversations than I've ever had before. It's real, it's raw, it's genuine. Like, I'm not changing myself, I'm growing. So I'm remaining who I am. I'm just becoming a better person. And for a long time, I thought I had to change. For a long time, I thought, like, Ashley, you cannot be this blunt girl. Like, you've got to cool it. But like, that's me. And so I've been able to keep who I am intact while working on myself and becoming a better version of myself. And so when a lot of people think of self-development, they think of changing who they are. And, you make changes for the better, but you can remain, the Katie and the Taylor and whoever you are at a core, you can just become the best version of yourself. And so that's what I've been really working on lately. And I've just seen a huge change in my business and in my life since then. So that's a little bit about my story. Taylor, what about you?
Okay, so I got started like a week after Ashley. I remember she messaging me on Facebook and I was like, Oh my gosh, like I hadn't talked to her since 6th grade. So we went to 6th grade together for 1 year. I moved to Kentucky, moved back home, and that was the only time I knew her. And I thought her message was spam. And so I ignored it for like an hour. But that whole hour, it just like kept like, it was just in my head, and I just kept playing it like over and over. And I was like, extra income. Like, what is she talking about? So finally I messaged her back and I was like, what is this? She's like, you got to call me. And I'm not good on the phone. Like I get super nervous. Like when I sign customers or sign distributors, it's usually through like voice messaging or texting. I don't like to have phone calls. That's just how I am. And so I was super nervous to call her. I called her and I signed up like that night. I had never heard of this business. I had never tried a product, but I was at that point in my life where, I needed to lose weight. I had gained like 20 pounds from college, and I was about to go into my last semester of nursing school. And I knew that I would have to stop waitressing because I always had to stop during school. And so extra income from my phone, I was like, sure, why not? Why not try it? So, I didn't promote really quickly. And it's pretty funny because when I was going Ruby, they paid it out. The first month you got $250, and then you had to maintain, and then you got the other half of your Ruby bonus. And so, of course, my executive calls and cancels like the last day of the month. And so I didn't get the second half of my Ruby bonus. And you know what? I got salty. And I was like, you know what? Like, boo-hoo, poor me. Like, that's bullshit. And so I kind of let that like hold me back. I was like, this is ridiculous. And so I threw my little pity party, and I sat at executive for months. Okay. And I just didn't have a drive. I had no drive to do this business and to promote. I was not hungry for success. I was content. Okay. I was content making $200 to $300 a month. It was paying my car insurance, paying my gas, paying for my vodka money at school. Like, it was cool. And so, my goal and my plan was to just continue to do this business bare minimum. And once I got my nursing job, this would pay for my student loans every month. And so, of course, life doesn't go as planned, and I failed my nursing boards, okay? I failed them not once, but twice. And the moment I failed my nursing boards for the first time, I was like, no way. Like, I am not going to let this test define me. I want to be successful with my life. And so, you know what? I was like, I know what I have on my hands, and I'm watching my upline about to claim a $20,000 bonus. Like, I'm next. Like, if she can do it, I can do it. And so I failed my nursing boards at the end of January, and I promoted to Diamond 2 months later. Okay, so I was sitting at executive and went Diamond 2 months later, and I earned $12,000 in bonuses because there was like an Emerald bonus and a Diamond bonus. And at that moment, the only thing that was different between where I was when I was sitting at executive and what it took for me to go Diamond was my mindset. I was hungry. I needed this. I didn't just, think of this as like a part-time job. I'll make what I want to make. No, I needed this because I had nothing. And so when my mindset changed to me needing this, like, there was no question if I was going to be successful or not. I had to be. And so that's when I promoted, and that's when my mindset changed. And my business has been exploding ever since. And so it took me, I think I promoted to Diamond on my 10th month into the business, but I never was not consistent. I was always posting every day. Even though I was sitting at executive, I was still doing those things. The only thing that I wasn't doing was I wasn't growing my market, and I wasn't messaging every day, but I stayed consistently posting. So that's just a little bit about my story.
And I think one thing that I'm going to add on to this, because Taylor and I have this really cool relationship because she was the first distributor to join my team. And like looking back on it, I was just messaging my whole friends list when she joined. Like, she was a girl from 6th grade that I had not talked to since 6th grade, and I messaged her. Like, I just was talking to everyone. But from day one, like, I really, especially the more I got into this, I saw so much potential with her because she loves to help people. And I think that goes a long way when you really want to help people. Like, you have those genuine conversations when people really matter to you, when you care about other people. You treat your business very differently than if you're stuck in your ego and just a selfish person. And so I always saw that with Taylor. And I remember she saw me go Emerald, and it was like, I thought that was going to be like her moment. Like, I thought she was going to be like, yeah. And then she didn't make that half of her bonus, like that other half for Ruby bonus. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, like, please don't let this break her. And it kind of did for a moment of time. But then I remember, and this is a moment that like I've messed up a lot with my leadership. I really have. Like, I've tried a bunch of things that don't work, and I've learned a lot from my mistakes. But one moment that I'll never forget is when she reached out to me and she was like, I need this. What do I do? And like, that was the day that like, that everything changed because it became more of like I need to be successful, not I want to. And it became I will be successful, not I want to. Like, it was just her. I could just tell by the way we were talking, because we had been in this business now for 9 months at that time, or 8 months at that time. And she saw me do it. And she's like, I know you. And I know that you're a full-time teacher. And I know that you have this going on. And if you're doing this, like, I can do this too. And it was such like, I feel like everyone has a bunch of aha moments in their business. And I really like, one thing that I really recommend is writing down that story when you have those moments and sharing those moments with people, because that's the most real, raw, and genuine you're ever going to be, is in that moment. You know, taking a picture of you crying, or I remember I posted a video of me crying getting my first diamond check. Like, those are the moments that you live for, and you like look back on when you are having those moments of struggle or doubt or insecurity. So that was like her moment, and I'll never forget it. And like, to this day, my most amazing moment as and It Works Girl when she went diamond, not when I did. Because for me, that was like, it was like the most fulfilling thing for me ever, because she had worked so hard for it and she had been through the ups and downs. And I know that when people go diamond, I mean, people might quit after it, but the people whose mind is right and they realize what they have their hands on, and if they can stay with it, they're gonna go ambassador. They're gonna get there. It might just take people different amounts of time. But I want to talk to Katie really quickly, and we're going to, like we said, we're going to keep this pretty short. So thinking like 45 minutes maybe. But what are some of your tips on how to be mindful? Because before you all got on, we were talking about how like mindfulness and getting your mind right is a practice. It's work. You don't just pick up a quote and feel inspired for that moment and all of a sudden you're a mindful person. You know, it's not something that just happens overnight. Like, you have to work at it and you have to practice at it. So Katie, how have you like practice being mindful and practice like self-growth, and what do you tend to do? Like, what do you do for all of that?
Okay, first of all, you guys just blew me away. Like, you two are incredible. Seriously. I want to share something with you guys and talk about belief, okay? I'm going to grab something off my dream board real quick, okay? So, I'm a crier, okay? So I might cry during this. I just want to show you how much this company, we always say it can change your life, but it really, really can, okay? So when I got started, It Works used to send these dream boards in your kit, okay? And you guys, one of my dreams on my board was to have my bills on auto pay. Like, I want you to know that if you're on this right now and you look at us and you're like, I can never get there, you can get here, okay? And when I first got started, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be one of those girls who made thousands of dollars a month, ever. Especially like the girls making $6K, $10K, $17K. Like, I was like, I'm not made for that. Like, I'm just this normal girl who was a waitress and dropped out of college. I'm a mom. And the fact that like I'm like shaking right now. That's how real I'm being with you, okay? My dream board when I first got started was to have my bills on auto pay. And now I wrote a check out to myself for $17,000 a month by October 31st, okay? If that doesn't show you how much your mindset can change in this business, like, I have chills right now, because why can that not be you, okay? Why can that not be you writing out a check to yourself for $6,000 a month? In the way you're going to get there, and the way you're going to really, it's one thing to say, go out there on Facebook and say, I'm going to be a double diamond, or this is my goal, but to truly, truly believe you're going to get there, okay? And I think it took me a whole year to go diamond, because it kind of freaked me out. I didn't think I was worthy of making $2,000 a month and helping 24 people. And then when I started getting on YouTube, okay, one of my favorite people to listen to is Les Brown. If you wake up and you're not in the right mindset, you need to get on YouTube and listen to someone who's going to make you feel like the shit, because you are. So listen to Les Brown, listen to Eric Worre, become passionate about network marketing, you guys. You have to understand that the opportunity that is in your hands, you can build $1 million business. and you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't have any distributors under me, or everyone on my team has quit. Guess what? That's normal. You're going to have that as a diamond. You're going to have that as a double. You're going to have that all the time, okay? And one thing I was reading in my book and I suggest this, even if you guys aren't readers, this book is so easy to read. Go Pro by Eric Worre, okay? This will teach you and just make you so knowledgeable about the business we're in, okay? Because you have to understand that people are programmed and they're brainwashed. Go to college, work for 40 hours a week for 40 years, retire on 40% of your income. That's safe in America. So when you do something outside the box, you have to embrace the skepticism. You have to embrace that people are going to be like, who are you? Like, making $500 a month? Like, what are you talking about? Like, get off my Facebook. You have to embrace the skepticism. And I always tell people, like when you get on an airplane, they tell you, okay, fasten your seat buckle for the turbulence, because you're going to experience, the turbulence. And I say you have to fasten your psychological seatbelt. You're going to have to embrace the no's. You're going to get rejection. And that's what I was scared of. Like when I first got started, I used to get super defensive. If someone like made fun of the rap, I'd be like, you know what I mean? I would get super defensive. I'd say, oh, we're in Forbes magazine, the rap works. Like, and then I realized like, these people aren't adding value to my life. These people aren't paying my bills. These people aren't going to be in my, like, why am I wasting so much emotional energy? So when you are so focused on all the things going wrong, guess what? You're disrespecting your loyal customers. You're disrespecting the people who are cheering you on, okay? So don't focus on what's not there and focus on what you want to get. And you wake up every single day and tell yourself, if you're brand new, wake up and say, I'm a Ruby. I make $500 a month. You know what I do every day? I wake up and I tell myself, I'm like, I'm debt free. I'm debt free. I'm debt free. I like have this song I sing, but I'm not going to sing it because you'll make fun of me. But I tell myself every day, like I'll be in the shower and I'll be like, I'm a triple diamond. Like I like tell myself every day, I'm like, I'm a triple diamond. I'm a triple diamond. I'm debt free. I'm debt free. I make 17 grand a month. I tell myself that every day because I want to believe it. And I read in a John Maxwell book that when you truly start to believe something, no matter how impossible you think it is, and you just start thinking of small ways to believe that it can happen, your brain starts working, Lee, okay? So every single day I wake up, I come in here and I say, I am a mass enroller, I'm a world changer, I'm powerful beyond measure, because I am. Who am I to just, you guys are so much more powerful, and so much more capable of so much that you don't think you are. Like you guys look at these people enrolling 4 to 5 distributors a month. Why can that not be you? Belief will make or break your business, you guys. Like when I got started, I told y'all, double diamond was my 5-year goal. I never thought I would get there, and I did it in 2. So change your mind every single day. Positive affirmations. Say what you want, okay? Some of the most successful billionaires in the world will tell you they have handwritten dream boards on their fridge. They have them on their mirror. They have them in their car. They have them in their house, everywhere. Because when you are constantly telling your brain what you want, guess what? You're going to start attracting it. And if you wake up every day and you're like, God, so-and-so is not going to sign up today. I'm not going to get anyone to answer my text messages. That's what you're going to get. So wake up every day and say, I'm a badass. I'm a Ruby. I'm a freaking awesome rap girl. You're going to start attracting these people in your life. That's my 2 cents about belief, girl.
Girl, preach. Y'all, if you're not like pumped up feeling like you can change the world, then I don't know who the hell you are. Like, I swear this girl, since the very beginning, I've been like, I don't know what it is about that Katie girl. I don't know if it's the Alicia Keys in us both, but like that girl, every time. Okay, so I'm going to go to Taylor really quickly and ask you, just because we all 3 do have those very different stories when it comes to the growth of our business and our mindset, like what was your, what was like the day like when you finally said like, I need to get there, and I need to get there by focusing on my mindset and by working on myself as a person? Like, what did you start doing? Because I think a lot of people don't know how to start. Like it sounds great. Like the idea of working on yourself and becoming a better person and believing in yourself, like it sounds awesome, but like, how did you do it? Like, how did you start?
Well, I definitely finally started doing self-development. I mean, the whole first 8 months of my business, I heard the leaders say, pour into yourself, listen to motivational videos, read, and I never did it. It just went in one ear, out the other, and I never really paid attention to what the leaders were saying. So when I decided to finally start doing this and like taking it seriously, I would wake up and I would get motivated, and I would start growing my network. I mean, that was one thing that I wasn't doing for 9 months. So I was continuously posting to the same people for 9 months. And so once I, started really developing my Instagram and Facebook and adding people, I just noticed my business took off because, I was having new people see my post, and then I was just having more people to reach out to. And so really just focusing on those 6 lists, I created a 6 list, expanding my market, self-development, messaging, so many people every single day, making sure I'm posting every single day. That's really just, it works if you work. And those are the things you're supposed to do for your business,
Right. So what are your favorite things? Like, everyone does self-development differently, and I'll talk a little bit about that kind of at the end of this, but what are your favorite things to do personally for self-development? Because that's another thing. Like, one thing I have to do is I always do self-development every day, but I have to plan exactly what that means to me. So that could mean reading a chapter of a book or, something specific. So what type of self-development do you like to do? What motivates you and gets you pumped up?
I like to read or videos. It's really just read or videos. And it just depends on what I'm in the mood for. But
do you have anyone specific, like a specific author that you like to read, or a specific person like you like to listen to or watch videos from?
I love Steve Harvey. His book, that was the book when I finally started doing self-development. That was the first book I started actually reading. I've always hated to read because I always was stuck in a nursing book. And so I didn't really like to read. And I wasn't even really excited to start doing self-development with reading. But when I started reading his book, I was like, oh my gosh, it was just hitting home. And so that was my favorite for sure.
Awesome. So I think what's cool that Katie and Taylor are both saying, and I feel the same way, you might not be that reader. That might not have that effect on you. You might be a video person. You might, need different ways to do self-development. I was joking around the other day, but it's so true. Sometimes my self-development of the day is putting on the rap music in my car.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like I am pumped, I am capable, I am this, I am that. I don't need to read some fancy statistic in a book some days. And so I always tell people, and one thing that I've been really working on lately, and I've noticed a huge change in just my personal growth, is I seek the self-development that I need in that moment, that I need that day. Okay, so if I wake up and I'm I'm tired, I'm going to watch a video about someone who has a million things going on and they make it work, who's the busiest person on the planet and they make no excuses, Or if I'm feeling like my business isn't going anywhere, I'm going to watch people who went through the struggle to be successful and it wasn't handed in their lap. Or if I feel like I'm not a great leader, I'm going to read a book based on leadership. Seek the self-development that you need in that moment, because every day it doesn't have to be the same thing. I do different things every day. This morning, I kid you not, I'm throwing on the M&M. I'm getting to school. I'm going to sit in the parking lot. I'm going to soak it in. That's going to be my mindset. I'm going to go into the day just pumped and ready to go. I'm going to love today, even though I'm so damn exhausted and I feel terrible. Screw that. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to work great. And so just don't think that, the first time I tried self-development, it didn't really work for me because I just thought that I had to do the same thing over and over and over again. I thought it was read a chapter of a book, the next day read a chapter of a book, the next day read a chapter of a book, or watch a It Works video. A lot of my self-development isn't It Works related. It's just based on motivation and self-growth. But one thing that actually happened today that I wanted to share with you all is I had professional development at school. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm a teacher, and we had this speaker come, and he actually owns his own business. He's an entrepreneur. And he made some really good points that I wanted to share with you all, that every time he was talking, I could apply it to my classroom, but I could also apply it to my business. And I think if you're mindful and if you're aware of, how you interpret things and how you take things in, you'll realize how much that you learn in just life you can apply to your business. Because when I first started, my mind wasn't there to think about my business all the time like that. But he made some really good points. So I'm just going to start reading some of them. This really won't take that long. But some of these are things that I would write down. Some of these are post ideas for me. Just the wording of them. It's oh my gosh, that makes perfect sense. But the first thing he talked about was purpose. And he looked at everyone and he was why do you want to be a teacher? So this went back to why did you join? You know, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? And once you have your purpose, you'll be able to make crystal clear decisions to help you get to where you want to go. If you keep focused on your purpose, if you keep focused on your why, for example, you'll be at ease when it comes to making difficult decisions. You'll know whether or not what you're going to do is going to help you or hurt you, and you'll make the decision to help yourself out. And so he was saying, you know, if you have purpose when it comes to teaching, sometimes you don't know what the right choice is in the moment, but if your purpose is to do the best for those kids, you're not going to make the wrong decision. So if your purpose is to do the best for your business and to create this income for your family and to be a yes mom and to get out of debt, like, you're going to make decisions that are going to help you get out of debt. They're going to be crystal clear, and you're not going to be confused on what do I do? You'll know what to do. It'll be crystal clear. But then he said, once you have your purpose and you've mastered your purpose, the next thing you need to do is come up with a process or a plan to help you reach your purpose. And so, you know, that might mean making your 6 list every day, or, you know, breaking your goals down into weekly, monthly, things like that. But then he said, that's not enough. That's not enough. Having a purpose and having a plan is not enough. Obviously, you need to have action, or you need to have practice. So he called these like the 3 Ps. You can't have a practice until you have a process, until you have a purpose. Like, they go all hand in hand. So if you're focusing all the time on your purpose and you know your process of how you're going to get there, you need to start practicing that every day. And so that goes with being consistent. And I just thought that just especially with 3 Ps as a teacher, like, that's very easy to remember. Another thing he talked about is letting go of two different hats that we like to wear. Okay, one hat that we like to wear is the ego. Mm-hmm. He talked about letting go of the ego and staying intentional and being approachable. And even though you might be a really, really hard teacher on your kids, you need to have that tough love. They need to know they can come to you. They need to know that your intention is to give them the best education they deserve, and you love them. Mm-hmm. Because being a great and hard teacher, that only gets you so far. Being a great and hard worker, being a great and hard, you know, rap girl only gets you so far if your intention is not there. So letting go of your ego, and, you know, being godlike and all these types of things. And then the second thing is letting go of the victim. Like, I've never heard him cuss. This is his second thing he's done for us. But he literally looked at everyone. He was like, quit blaming all your bullshit on everyone and everything. Let go of playing the victim. Let go of, you know, feeling sorry for yourself and making excuses because things happen in your life. Like, let go of that, because when those things happen and you have a purpose and you have a process and you're practicing, those things are not going to knock you down. You're going to keep rolling. So let go of the victim and let go of your ego. I thought those were awesome. He gave me a statistic that, like, this absolutely blew my mind. And so he actually worked in the University of Louisville for years, and he taught mindfulness and a bunch of, like, psychology courses. And one of the things he mentioned that, like, this is huge for me, 95 to 97% of all that we do, so every single action, 95 to 97% is run by our subconscious mind. So it's habit. Like, we're creatures of habit. We just do things. Like, our plan might be great, but what we want to do, we're going to do. So if your mind isn't right, you're just going to be impulsive and make rash decisions and, you know, lose sight of your purpose, your process, and your practice. So he was talking about, you know, if you are practicing thinking positively and your subconscious is positive and it's at this high level, you're going to make decisions that support that and that push that further. But if you have, you know, the negative things in your mind, like, you're going to make subconscious thoughts that you don't even realize you're making, like what you're eating that day, what you're drinking that day. Like, I'm the type of person that I'm a stress eater and things like that. That's subconscious. Like, I don't even know I'm doing it half the time. Like, I just do it. And so he talks about just making sure if your mind's right, your decisions are going to be a lot more crystal clear and they're going to be in support of what your vision is. And then the last thing he talked about is watching your thoughts, because obviously your thoughts run your life. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, duh, I've heard that a million times. But he talked about this in a different way than I've ever even read about. And I've read a lot of books on, you know, thoughtfulness. But he talked about your thoughts of the past, the present, and the future. And he, like, divided them. And he said, if you think too much about your future, you're likely to have, this is scientifically proven. If you think too much, overly think about your future, you're likely to be more anxious, fearful, tense, stressed, and filled with worry. That's scientifically proven. If you are putting too much of your focus on your future, if you're putting too much of your thoughts on your future. And then he said, if you put too much on your past, you're scientifically proven to feel these things: guilt, regret, resentment, and sadness. And so he said, some people, if they think of their past, they wish they were back there, and that makes them sad or resentful or regretful. Some people, when they think of their past, it just makes them sad because they're a much better person today, right? And so focusing too much on your future and too much on your past does nothing good for you. If you are always remaining in the present and you occasionally think of the past and think about your growth, and if you occasionally think about your future and where you want to go, but if most of your focus is on the present and what you're doing today, and like what you're tracking about what you're doing today, you're going to be hopeful, and you're going to be excited, and you're going to be motivated, and you're going to feel like you're making progress, right? And so we talked about this on a Zoom the other night, keeping that daily log of what you're thankful for that day, what you did that day that was great. And on those days where you're thinking too much of the past or too much of the future and you're stressed or you're anxious or you're worried, open up that journal and read it. So I really liked how he kind of broke that up, because I'm a huge dreamer, and you definitely should be thinking of your future a lot. But if you don't focus on your now often, you lose sight of your future, really, because you're just thinking of these dreams and you're not putting in the action that's going to take, that you need to get there. And sometimes it can be disheartening because you're not there yet. And you're sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, triple, double, double. Like, why not just own right now that you're a diamond and work towards double and have that dream in line, but focus on what you need to do to get there instead of focusing on being that. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was just like super, super powerful. He's worked with a bunch of like college football teams and talked to them about like goals with the NFL. Like, don't just think I'm going to go to the NFL. What are you going to do right now today at this practice to get you to the NFL? Mm-hmm. And always be thinking of the now while your goals are in the future. But don't get stuck in the future and don't get stuck in the past. And I just thought that was so, like, the way he talked about it with all these statistics, like the thoughts that you have and the fears that you have when you think of the past and you think of the future, like, we need to be mindful of the now, and occasionally flip back to those, but like focus on today and take it a day at a time and do your best day by day. And you're going to get to where you want to be in the future if you do that. So the last thing he said, and I promise I'll shut up, but the last thing he said that I absolutely loved is he said, the root of all suffering is wanting things or craving things. The root of success is doing things. Yes. And I was like, oh my God. Because I was like, what do you mean suffering is wanting things? Like, I want things. How is that suffering? He's like, no. He looks at me all the time because he knows that I'm involved with network marketing. And so a lot of times he'll say things and relate it to my business, which I love. But he looked at me and I was like, we were all sitting there like, what the hell do you mean? Like, I want things and I crave things. Is that not a good thing? Like, how is that a bad thing? He's like, wanting and craving do nothing. Wanting and craving do nothing. It's the root of all suffering. It's the root of defeat. The root of success is just doing. Mm-hmm. And so don't get so focused on, oh, I want diamond. Oh, I'm craving that double diamond promotion. I really, really want to go double this month. Like, do what you need to do to get you to double, and quit wanting and craving. Just do it. Just go out there and do it. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was like the one thing that I was just like mind blown by, because I love words and I love statistics and I have a little bit of green in me. But when someone can take like all these thoughts and put them into something that's so simple and so relatable to all things in your life, like, that was the one major takeaway I had of today. So I do a lot of what Katie and Taylor do when it comes to my mindfulness, and I practice it every day. But find like a quote or find something that you can keep in your mind all the time, and focus so much on your present and a little bit on your future. But don't dishearten yourself and don't stress yourself out and have this anxiety and this fear. Like, just focus on where you are now and where you want to go, and you're going to get there. But don't just focus on where you want to go, and don't focus on wanting and craving things. Do what you need to do to get where you want to go. And it's as simple as that. And so that's like that was my last word vomit thing. But I just get really pumped up when I talk about what he talked about, because I was in there with tears in my eyes, chilled out, just like, oh my God, like, this guy is just a genius. So I'm actually going to try to talk to him and see if he could, or someone from his team could come to an indie meeting and just like give us a little insight, or if he could just do some type of training for us. But that was what I learned today, and I thought that was empowering and insightful for, self-motivation and keeping yourself always growing and not staying stuck where you are. So
Can I say one thing real quick before we log off? It reminded me of it because Taylor mentioned Steve Harvey, and I watched this thing by Steve Harvey, and I'll post it on the team page. But he basically says, God has this big box for you, okay, and it has what you want, okay. So in this big box, I want you guys to think right now. This big box, it has your dream rank, okay. It has presidential diamond in this box. It has financial stress taken away in this box. It has paying off all your debt. It has all of your dreams and hopes, and it's in this box, but you gotta stay on believe lane, okay? He says you can't keep going and get off on I'm not worthy drive or doubt it lane. He's like, you have to stay in belief. And that's what this whole Zoom is about, okay? If you believe it, you're going to get there. So quit telling yourself that you're not worthy. Quit telling yourself that you're not skinny enough, you're not pretty enough, that you're not outgoing enough, you can never do Zooms. Quit telling yourself that. You have to stay on just faith drive, and you're going to get to that box. And the day that you do, it's going to feel so good. I just had to share that. I'm going to try to find it on YouTube and post it on our page.
I love that so much. I love him. But I hope that you all found this helpful. I learn something every time I get on a Zoom, and right now, I don't know about you all, but I'm just feeling very inspired. And I want you all to know, this is another thing that I wish I heard more of. We all started exactly where you all started. And I know that sounds silly, but I didn't know self-development, and I was no pro at this when I started, and I'm still learning, how to do all of this. And so don't feel like you have to compare yourself to us either. This will come to you if you work at it. So if you ever have questions on, where to start and what to do, and maybe you feel like you can relate to one of us specifically and you want to hear, based on our personalities, what motivates or inspires us, message us, reach out to us. We'd be more than willing to help you. That's how I learned who to watch on YouTube. I asked people like me, who pumps you up on YouTube, or what do you do? So definitely reach out to us with whatever questions you have when it comes to that. And I really hope that you all found this helpful, with it being a new year. I just challenge everyone to be more intentional, and take charge and take ownership of not only your business, but your growth mentally and spiritually and things like that. So hopefully this was good. Katie, do you have anything else?
No, just go out there and run like your hair is on fire and get diamond, because it unlocks the compensation plan and you all deserve it. Quit looking at us like we're special, that we have superpowers. We don't. We just are consistent and very, very, very driven, and you'll get there.
Love it. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm so happy that we were should we reach out to her? Even we were should we reach out to her? Yes, of course. This is stuff that Katie loves so much.
Excited. And everyone, please look at what I'm posting on Dream Warrior right now, okay? It's that thing by Steve Harvey. So get off here and go watch it. It's 5 minutes long.
Perfect. Love you guys so much. Thank you for getting on.
Okay, bye.
Bye.